Hey guys, it's Melissa Slosky. Sorry I missed you today. Today's meeting was nice and tiny. Me and Bria had a nice conversation. So I figured what I would do is record this talk and you guys can watch it at your own convenience. All right, let me share my screen real quick. So this is 6 steps to more income and impact in your mission-based mentor business. So I'll just tell you my story real quick. I was a professor of music until I was bitten by the online marketing bug about 8 years ago. I found out that being Dr. Slosky was feeding my ego, but not my soul. There were all these new tools and technologies out there that you can really create anything you want these days. And it became more important to me that my students could actually make a living after they graduated. So I decided that I was a mentor on a mission. I really wanted to help people profit from their mission, from their purpose, what they were put on this planet to do. So I didn't quite have the guts to go out on my own yet, so I worked behind the scenes for a few 7-figure business coaches, and that was awesome, getting to revamp and create courses and content and to combine my teaching skills with my obsession for digital marketing. And now I'm a business and marketing strategist by myself, living happily ever after, right? Not quite. So I had to unlearn a lot of things. The curse of knowledge is probably one of my biggest struggles. My nickname in high school was Data from Star Trek. I guess people thought that I used big words and I spoke in a monotone voice, and that only got worse with more academia. And then there was the usual suspects like fear of failure and fear of what everybody else would think when I switched careers. And then becoming an entrepreneur, this desire for instant gratification. We want success and rewards now. So being willing to take the small steps, crawling when I want to walk and walking when I want to crawl. And I've also made a lot of mistakes venturing out into this online marketing world. And I've learned to be proud of those mistakes when I learn things through experience instead of a textbook or something I watched off of somebody else's webinar. So these are just a few of my online ventures. I taught some piano courses. I bundled some information products. And I had some people steer me into the career coaching direction. When I really wanted to be a business coach, they said, no, you should do this first because you're switching careers. So life is short. You got to do what you love, do what you're passionate about, do what your purpose is. So that's what I'm doing. So let's get to it. We are in the business of solving problems for our audience, for our clients. We get them from point A to point B. We take them from where they are now to where they want to be. And sometimes we have to describe those things. It's not enough to say, I'm going to get you from point A to point B. So right now they're stuck and they need our support. So you're going to be the person that gets your clients the results because this is what they want. And we're not going to leave them hanging. So hopefully this presentation will give you some actionable things that you could do today to really get your mission in front of more people. So here are the 6 steps. The first one is the hardest for me, is to solve one specific problem for your audience. And that's to be a specialist instead of a generalist. So as experts, you probably know a lot, you can do a lot, you might be multi-passionate or multi-talented, and I totally get this. So you've probably heard the analogies, you know, if you had a brain tumor, would you want to go to the leading brain surgeon? Or would you go to the general surgeon? Or when your health bill comes in the mail, you'll probably notice that the general MD your primary care provider is a lot less expensive than that specialist with the other letters after their name besides MD. And I have always been a recovering jack of all trades. Even as a professor, you know, everybody else had a specialization, and I was kind of like piano, theory, oral skills, music history, and that just led to burnout because I wasn't able to focus on my zone of genius. And even as an entrepreneur, I'm constantly trying to just do everything myself instead of outsourcing and delegating. So the problem in business, it's going to be easier for people to find you and for you to be known in your zone of genius. If you try to be all things to all people, it's really hard to find you. So what you want to do is learn the skills of a generalist, but market yourself as a specialist. Lead with that one thing instead of trying to be everything to everyone. So number 2 is to serve one ideal client instead of trying to be all things to all people. And I also get this because I want to help everyone too. Like, I love monetizing people. So when I see somebody with a real gift, like my photographer who took my brand photos, I want to monetize her. The yoga teacher in Florida who could be the next Rodney Yee. Like, I just go around and I see people with these gifts and I'm just like, let me monetize you. And the problem with that is, you know, reaching your people becomes difficult. Advertising becomes expensive. Like back in the olden days, everybody could market like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Everybody could be like, anybody who needs a refreshing beverage, here you go. And nowadays, we are so bombarded with information and messages and advertising 24 hours a day that unless something is super specific and relevant to us, we just have adapted to filter and tune those messages out. So generic messages do not work. When you try to speak to everybody, you end up speaking to nobody. And I've learned this the hard way so many times, especially in online marketing, like building a sales page where you're trying to appeal to multiple people. It just doesn't speak to anybody. So the solution is you want to get clear on who you want to serve. And don't worry, there are new ways of doing this. You do not have to do it. The old way is kind of all about demographics, like I am only going to work with accountants or moms between the ages of 30 and 45, and they have 2.5 kids and they drive a minivan. Like, you don't have to do that anymore. Nowadays, it's more about psychographics, like a feeling or an emotion, a common purpose. For instance, this group includes a lot of people doing a lot of different things, but we're all mentors on a mission. So there's a new way to do this. It's not as scary as it used to be. So just to recap, serve one ideal client instead of trying to be all things to all people. Number 3 is to speak your client's language instead of your expert language. This is probably my biggest downfall. I totally know what it's like. So the problem is, as experts, you have studied and gathered this expertise. You have the curse of knowledge. If you're some kind of a consultant and a coach, you might have this jargon or technical language that you use. You're diagnosing and fixing. If you're a coach or a healer, you have these awesome tools and modalities that can really change people's lives. But when you use words like NLP or EFT or Reiki attunement, those words don't mean anything to our audience. So I want you to think about getting an oil change. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff. I don't care about the type of oil, the fact that they have to get under my car, what kind of lift they're going to use. All I care about is making this problem go away. This nagging light. That's been on for the past 2 months that I've been ignoring. And at the end, they washed my car and I have the shiny new dashboard again. My 2009 Toyota Corolla looks like a brand new car again. So I literally don't care about any of the process beyond you take my car, you change the oil, you check some fluids, and you wash my car. So keep that in mind. So as experts, we also often know the real problem behind the symptoms. And sometimes we're talking about problems that our audience doesn't even know they have. So sometimes when it comes to problems, you have to remain on the surface, like what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, how it's showing up for them, instead of digging deeper into the real problem, at least until you get them into your program or into your book, whatever mechanism you're using to teach. And it's just like the old adage, people don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. So the solution, I like to say, the golden rule is to treat others the way you like to be treated. The platinum rule is to treat others the way they would like to be treated. So when it comes to the pain and the problem you solve that you take away for them, you want to use their words for this. And with the results and outcomes you provide, how would they describe this? What are they getting out of it and taking away? Sometimes it's different from what you want or the way you would describe it. And the way you do this is, the best way is ask them, what are you struggling with, and what are you hoping to achieve, and what do you think is standing in the way? And there's some market research techniques you can do too, and I'll be happy to teach you some of those on another presentation. I have some tricks. Number 4 is to package up what you do in a way that you're not trading dollars for hours or selling single sessions. So this is actually my specialization. I love helping people put together high-ticket packages. So I like to define package as a complete or comprehensive solution to your ideal client's problem. And it's based on results, not your hours, outcomes you will achieve, not your process, and the transformation you provide. So it's not about you or your certificates or the letters after your name. It's all about the transformation. So the challenges with packages, it requires a bit of a shift in thinking. If you've been used to being paid by the hour or even being paid by the project, it can take a little getting used to sell transformation, especially when you can do something quickly. You may say, how can I charge this when this only takes me 5 hours? And it can be difficult to find information on how to put these together, but I've got you covered for this. I'm putting out a book next week, and I'll be happy to send you all a digital copy for free. I'll send out an invitation on Meetup. So I promise you, selling packages, it requires a bit of a shift, but it's totally worth it. And when it comes to the hours, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to lose 10 pounds in a week or 90 days? Do I want to find the love of my life in a week or 90 days? Do I want the business of my dreams in 1 week or 90 days? And most of the time, we want things sooner rather than later. It can actually be worth a lot more when you can deliver a result or a transformation faster. That's actually worth more money, not less money. Number 5 is you want to show up. You want to be visible to your audience in 1 to 2 ways that play to your strengths. So if you enjoy writing like I do, you can put out books and blogs and content. If speaking is what you're passionate about, you can host your own events, maybe start your own meetup, be a guest speaker. I want to be a speaker, but a lot of my professor habits are hard to break, and I'm learning that in the real world, I can't just teach. So I'm learning to have to reframe a lot of how I usually show up in front of an audience. If you like creating videos, you can create videos and post them to YouTube or Facebook. You can do Facebook Lives. If you like to interview people, you can start a podcast or an interview series. There are so many ways these days that cost nothing and take virtually very little time, but you just want to pick things that play to your strengths and that you actually enjoy. And here's a hint to get yourself out there faster. Consider being collaborative to leverage the audience of others, so you can show up on other people's stages. You can appear on somebody else's podcast or video. And when you interview somebody else and feature them, they're going to usually share that with their audience, and you get to be the expert. So the benefits of collaborating is you get to be like Oprah, where you get to be the expert that's interviewing and featuring other people. And I like to say collaboration beats competition every time. There actually is no such thing as competition anymore. Your biggest competition is usually your client, because they're thinking, is this something I really need to pay for, or can I do it myself? Because we're in a world now where it's very easy to do a lot of things yourself. There's a tool or technology or an app for 99 cents that can usually get the job done. Number 6, this is our last one. You want to be strategic. Don't try to do all the things. So you want to pick 1 to 2 strategies to be visible, how you're going to become the go-to expert in your area. And then maybe 1 to 2 platforms to show up on and be discovered. Like if you like networking in person, starting your own meetup. Online, you can be on Facebook or LinkedIn. If you like videos, YouTube. So don't try to be everywhere. Just pick 1 or 2 that'll work for you. And then you want to pick 1 to 2 launch strategies to get your products and your services out into the world. And there's many ways to do that, but you want to find ones that you know you can stick to and commit to and that feel good to you. They don't feel out of alignment for you. So don't do what I did. I became like an e-course junkie. I don't even want to tell you how many online courses and digital marketing certifications I did just for fun. And I didn't always implement what I learned because I just wanted to help others. So that's why I am a strategist. I like learning all the things so you don't have to. So here's just a recap, the 6 steps to increasing your income and impact as a mission-based mentor. Number 1 is solve 1 specific problem. Be a specialist instead of a generalist. Number 2, serve that 1 ideal client instead of trying to be all things to all people. Number 3 is speak your client's language instead of your expert language. And that's especially in what they want, what they're struggling with, and your process. Package up what you do. Do not trade dollars for hours or sell single sessions. They will get more of a transformation, more amazing results, and you will be better paid for your time and expertise if you package up what you do. Number 5, show up, be visible in 1 to 2 ways that play to your strengths. And number 6, be strategic. Don't try to do all the things. Just pick 1 to 2 ways to get known, to be visible, and to get your stuff out into the world. If you have any questions, ask me anything, feel free to reach out. You can message me on Meetup, and my email address is melissa@melissaslawski.com. I'll have this in the comments section. And I would love to offer you a free strategy session. If you want some help packaging up what you do or coming up with your strategy to create more income and impact from your expertise, I would love to talk to you. So again, you can feel free to message me on Meetup or email me, and I'll have a link to schedule sessions as well. Thank you so much. I enjoyed giving this presentation. I hope that it was useful. So I will schedule an in-person meeting for sometime next week, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all.